You studied your tail off. You finally passed MetaBlueprint, buying and planning. Now what do you do? You know, it's funny. I actually had a buddy of mine just come up to me recently who read all my Medium articles and watched all my videos on MetaBlueprint on how to succeed and win and how to pass on the first try. And he did. He took both the planning and the buying within probably a week and a half of each other and passed both. Now, he did study for about 3 weeks before, right? After he passed, he called me the next day on the second one, the planning one. He calls me up and he says, yeah, so now what do I do? And I was like, wow, that's kind of a weird thing to say, you know? I don't know. You tell me. Put it on your LinkedIn and you put it on your resume. And he was like, yeah, but I don't want to go back to agency life, because that was something we talked about as well. He's in a completely different field now. And we kind of discussed it and we kind of brainstormed some different ideas for him to work through in creating a business. And so one of the options we're working with is his field that he's now, and then incorporating that with planning and buying, Meta, and even Google, and starting a business in that. And I think that's a brilliant idea. But one of the things I've noticed, and I've seen a lot of people discuss, is they focus entirely on this test, but they don't focus on what's going to happen after. Like you have to kind of know what you're going to do right after, right? Because if you're an agency, right, if you're working at an agency and you're either entry level or you're a soup or you're a manager or you're even an AMD and you want to plus up your skills, I mean, what are you going to do after? I mean, I promise you, after you take the meta planning and buying, which I suggest you do, you're going to want to set up like a training program. You're going to see immediately how good you are. You're going to be able to speak so much clearly in terms of the objectives and the goals and communicating the terminology so well to the client that you're going to be like, I need everybody on my team to be this good. And you will see it right away. So let's actually go with the first one. Let's actually talk about agency life real quick. So the first thing I would say is know where you're at, right? So you need to take this test. But the next thing I would say is know where you're at with your boss, right? Your relationship with him or her, because, the economy is really tight right now, right? It's a really hard time for a lot of people. And a lot of people, my friends, are very territorial. And territorial equals, I don't want to say jealousy, but more territorial thoughts, right? So what you need to do is kind of understand the relationship we have with your boss. Hopefully it's a positive, good relationship. If it's positive and good and you guys think so alike and you guys are a good pair, I mean, I would just let them know and say, hey, I'm thinking about taking this and I think it'll be great, and I have some plans, but let me take it first and see what happens. After you take both tests and you pass and you win, like I suggest you do, I promise you're going to want to share this knowledge with your team, right? Because now you're positioned as a leader. I don't care if you're an entry level person at all. Actually, you're automatically a leader. By taking this test, my friends, you are automatically above average. No doubt about it. You are 100% above average. So you went from average to now above average. Most of your team is probably average, even some below average. Some are probably above average, right? But most of them are probably average. So what you want to do is, as a leader, after you take this test, what you're going to want to do is lift that team up, right? And how are you going to do that? So after you take it, you're going to probably tell your boss, like, hey, I really believe in this test. If you want to, like, this is how I would say to position it to get a raise or a promotion. But say, hey, I want to put together a training program and I want to work with our Meta rep, get vouchers. If not, work with our HR, have them pay for it. And it's not really that much for a corporate payout for this. It's roughly 100, 150 per person. So, what the average team is 10 people. So I'm not saying that's, I'm not trying to say it's a low amount, but still for training, $150 for a test is not bad. After you put together this program, you're going to start pushing your people through. And then, like I said, but where you're going to focus your time is on the below average people. And your job, my friend, is going to take those below average, pseudo below average people and push them up. That is how you get judged as a leader, my friends. From there, what you're going to do is hopefully spread this to your department. Hopefully your boss is clear with that. If not, just your team even. If your boss is still not okay with it, just say, okay, well, I'll just make it voluntary. So if anybody wants to do it, they're more than welcome to, but it doesn't have to be mandatory. Now, I was so big on this that I actually worked with my leadership to make it mandatory, because if you're buying, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to take this test. This test is a huge stamp of approval that you are an expert buyer. So luckily, I really had a great leadership that believed in me at my previous agency. If you do not have that, right, you know what I would do? I would probably set up and leave eventually, because any leader who doesn't believe in like plus upping his team or working to have the company pay for certifications or whatnot is I think they're trash. Really, I just think that's a garbage way to view. This is the official certification. This is what you get paid for, to work in paid search and social. So again, what you're going to do is pass a test. You're going to put together a training program to hopefully start putting your team or your whole department through this testing program. From here, right, you're going to somehow track the less errors that happen in the buys, right? Because you're going to have less overages, right? You're going to have less errors with creative. You're going to probably win a little bit more. You're probably going to be asked to work on new business or bring in new business. So it's a huge way to boost morale, because people will want to work with somebody that's going to help them plus up their careers, right? Because we're all not going to live and die in the same agency. They're going to move on. You're going to move on. It's just the flow of life. So the fact somebody's doing that and helping them in their career is awesome. You're going to get a huge morale boost. So you're going to put together that program. Then when you have the less errors and you're able to document that, when you go to your review, you're going to say, I put together this huge training program. I got so X many people certified, and now the errors are at least with the people who are certified, a lot less. And trust me, you will notice it. You will notice it. I could always tell when somebody's having errors and errors and errors, they're not certified. So, that's food for thought. Now, like I said, if he don't believe in you, I would I wouldn't stay at a place like that. That's just garbage. Anyways, that's enough about that. So that's what you're working for. It's to bring your whole team up, right? And you should be able to, once you finish that second test, you should put that in motion, at least mentally, how you're going to put a game plan together on that. The next one is a contractor. This is quite interesting. So before, right, you're trying to get this to plus up your skills. You're trying to put it on your site. You're trying to use this as a value proposition for when you get clients, or you're trying to win clients that, hey, my agency is staffed with MetaBlueprint certified buyers. We're also certified in Google, the harder test that is, and the Proctor test, I mean. And, we're... we have less errors, and you have quality people work on your team. Would a mom and pop business appreciate that? Probably not. But who would? A larger business with a head of marketing. Because chances are, if they're a head of marketing, maybe they bought, and they will know what this is. So you're really positioning when you think about it, by being MetaBlueprint certified, you're positioning your agency not eventually to get larger fish, right? You're not trying to get like the mom and pop stuff, right? Now you have to start somewhere. We all do. But eventually your long-term vision is to get a larger client with a head of marketing. That's where you're aiming, because they will understand, oh, wow, you're certified. Okay, and your rates are good. Okay, well, maybe we should talk, Also, another thing I want you to talk about, and this has been knocked down a few times, is services, right? So let's understand this. This is MetaBlueprint. It's a paid social certification, right? You're now an expert in paid social for Meta. Now, Meta includes organic. It includes creative. It includes SMM. And it includes sentiment. It includes all these other things, right? What you're going to do is start building out your agency, the other services. You're going to actually start slowly, begin networking and bringing in contractors or contracting for SMM, creative, and any other services in relation to that. Why are you going to do this? Because it's social, my friends. You do not want to just buy all the time. Like, I understand they're huge, there's these huge conglomerates of agencies that buy all day, and I get that. But as a small businessman, right, myself, I can honestly say, when I first started this, I was like, oh yeah, I'm just going to buy. That's all I'm going to do. My friends, that's not the way to do it, because people want to know if you do creative. They want to know if you do emails. They want to know if you do organics. They want to know you have do you do video editing? They want all that, because that's all included with social. Of course they would want it. But a lot of people are like, oh no, I just do buying. I just do buying. It's part of social, my friends. It's the natural order of things. So what you want to do is somehow provide services for that, and make sure you have a white label or something available as a contractor to get that person, hire that person, or contract with them to provide that service for your client. Same thing goes with email. The same thing goes, as I was saying, there was actually a service that I provide right now that's red hot. It's two, actually. It's video editing, like I was just talking about. The other one is my Shopify tech. And my Shopify tech works in Google Merchant Center. They actually work with Google Reviews. They work with Judge Me, and they're able to connect those pipes and make sure reviews are popping up. Stuff that really a lot of people just don't have those resources, but I do. And I'm able to actually, when I pitch a client, say, I was looking, I didn't see any reviews on your when I looked at the shopping ads, when I looked for your when I Googled you, do you have any reviews? Like, why aren't those plugged in? Oh no, we just do those. Oh, yeah, that's a huge in right there, because you're able to say, hey, I have a Shopify tech who's able to find out what's wrong, where's the how we can connect those and make sure that those reviews are popping up. Now, is that what a Shopify tech does? No, but in case they have Shopify problems, I just happen to just call him. That's the way we just kind of assigned him. But he does everything, and he's worth his weight in gold. He's a great guy. But it's a huge value prop for my agency to say we have somebody. If you have Shopify problems, we have somebody. If you have if we need to connect the Google reviews, we have somebody to connect that to your shopping ads. We have somebody. So you want to be able to have all these services ready. Outside of paid, because that's what you are. You're an agency, right? Do you want them to go to you or to go to somebody else, right? So something to think about. I definitely challenge you. And does that fall in line with MetaBlueprint? Not necessarily, but if you want to expand your services and make more money, yes, it does actually. So think about that. After you get this MetaBlueprint, you have paid locked in. Let's look at other things, right? Look at other things down the road. How's your email, etc. So enough about that. We can go on. And then, of course, the client. So, I can't tell you how many times I've seen clients ask for free advice on these online forums, and I'm not going to mention them. But it's sad, and it's fine though. I get it. You want to just know some basic information. I get that. That's fine. But to rely on strangers for for guidance is a little dangerous. It kind of is. You have to be kind of careful with that. And, if you're asking for the advice, that means you really don't know if the advice is good or bad that comes through. So before MetaBlueprint, right, you understand that it's a habit, that you need to plus up your skills to make sure you're able to answer these questions, right? So the next thing you're going to do is, once you pass Meta Planning and Buying, right, you're going to get other certifications. You're going to run the Google team or whatever, your own Google Ads Manager, and obviously you're going to be great with Meta. I want you to take a look at your deeper connections, right? Like, how's Cappy? How's your enhanced conversions? Are those connected? Are they working okay? Those are where you need to concentrate. So it's almost like you got the basics down, Not right, because you don't have to ask these questions anymore. But now it's all about like the harder tech stuff. How's your GA4? Do you know GA4? Like you probably do, right? If you're a client, most clients actually do know GA4 quite well. But do you know how it interacts with GTM? Do you know how enhanced conversions work? Do you know how to connect CAPI? Hopefully, if you have Shopify, it's automatically connected because it's an API connection. But you really want to make sure that you're looking, again, it's a great solid foundation. You just want to expand that knowledge a little bit more, because the more you expand it, right, and take care of these other things like CAPI, enhanced conversion, blah blah blah, you're making your business thrive. That's what you're doing, especially with stuff like the cookie apocalypse, all that Google stuff coming down. And that's about it, my friends. Thank you so much for bearing with me. We're on Medium. There's actually a Medium article just on this very vlog topic, so check it out. And we are on Instagram. Also, we're on almost every single major podcasting platform, from Shopify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, iHeart, you name it, we're there. And then, of course, LinkedIn. Let me know if you have any questions, and I look forward to hearing from you and providing additional content. Thank you so much for your time.